You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the hosts or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Good afternoon and welcome to How You Living on Edge Radio TV. Hope you guys had a great weekend. My name is Robin B. And hey, Dr. Kiva.
Hello. I thought to say good morning.
I think we have been doing this how long now?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because we're just now seeing each other. So It's kind of like morning.
Exactly.
It really is. How's your weekend?
It was good. So, us and having our debates about busyness. So we were talking, and usually, like, I'm working probably 6 days a week, which is probably too much. Mm-hmm. And you're saying you're working seven days a week. And so since we're talking mental health for this month of March, are we being very mental health to ourselves if we can't give ourselves downtimes to unwind?
I totally agree. Actually, I did something about that this weekend because I am sometimes I feel overwhelmed because I got so much going on that I'm almost paralyzed without being, productive because I have so many different things going on. So yesterday, finally, which I should have done a year ago, is got myself a journal. Which I should have been doing a long time. And then now I'm categorizing what my priorities are, what I want to get done this day. And this one, I needed one that really resonated with me because I got about 4. Right. But none of them really were doing what I needed them to do. So this one is great because it gives me a goal and it says, what are you going to, what steps do you need to do to get to that goal? And what's getting in your way. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that will help me because my mental health has been suffering.
Exactly. Really and me too, because I was like, at a certain point, you're like, okay, I'm tired. Yeah. I need to unplug. Right. And so I think that our discussion beforehand tells us that
heck yeah. If y'all were just here 30 seconds ago. I'm serious. Vince would have had to pull out his referee shirt.
and I don't think that we are any different than anyone else.
Right.
And
that's
so
exactly
I think that
right.
I think that most people, even kids, are doing too much.
Way too much.
We need to find a way to unplug from everything.
That is very true.
Yeah, because once you can step away from something, then you can see what you need to do a lot better, and you have a clearer mind.
True. And I said this for the past week. I said I need to take a week off. And not to just do a whole bunch of stuff, a week off to really decompress.
Exactly.
If we don't, we end up burning out or just being unproductive altogether.
And being snappy.
And snapping.
And not sleeping.
That's not good.
And drinking coffee to wake up. Not you, I'm just saying just in general, getting into that cycle, not sleeping. So then you're in
react mode all the time.
I remember that commercial back in the day. Vince don't remember because he's too young.
He's too young.
So it was this guy who was just walking around in a circle. It was a drug commercial.
Okay.
He was like, I work harder to do my drugs. I work hard.
Right.
And so we're
it was a cycle, a vicious cycle. Yeah.
And so we're in that vicious cycle.
Yeah. I always equate it with being like a gerbil on a wheel. You're just spinning and spinning. And that's just, that's not sustainable. It just ain't.
Is it? Okay, so let's make a deal.
Okay. We already have a challenge that we're on, and I think we missed our challenge. We were supposed to have the closet challenge, remember? Because part of mental health is decluttering.
Yes.
So I think we got to do it again.
Yeah, because I missed it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We were supposed to do before and afters. And who has time? But I really believe that that's going to make a difference. Decluttering every aspect. Pick a room and then you do that, Yeah. And a closet is a good place to start.
Well, when you are too congested in your life, you're going to get congested in your body.
That's true.
And then all of a sudden it's going to affect your mental health.
I agree.
And then you get frustrated. You scream at kids and family members, and you
and
feel
strangers
really exactly.
Yeah, and you can't do that on the road these days. Not in Texas.
Not in Texas.
You'll get shot.
Not in Texas.
So I think because it's spring, spring cleaning can mean a lot of things. We should do spring cleaning on our psyche, on our our well-being.
So now we're going to do a detox,
I
right?
think we should do a detox. And I got a detox tea coming. Did I tell you?
Goodness, no,
it's already created. I just have to label them now. I have to but it's a 14-day detox.
Nice.
And so once you do that, then you only have to do maintenance maybe once a week.
So how does it work? So you just drink the tea throughout the day? Or?
You drink it. I think the instructions I have, and we're still finalizing it, is you'll have a cup in the morning, a cup in the evening. Okay. And it will make a difference. And it might just depend on the person. You might only just need it in the morning and be fine. And
so you drink it, and then
it's going to get things moving.
Okay, and then you're watching what you're eating during that process also?
I don't think you have to. This will be like, just like any other herbal tea. There's really no other requirements. It's going to help flush you out.
Dare I say the word that you don't want me to say?
Go on.
Is it going to clean your bowels?
It's going to get the poop out. How about it? All right, I finally said it. But that's what we need because people.
So you won't be anal retentive?
No, I'm going to still be anal retentive. That's just my nature. But you
Not
know
you.
what?
No, I'm talking about
you mean
you
the person?
Yeah.
You know what? That's a very good play on words. I like it. But as we know, your gut has everything to do with your entire well-being. We know that,
right?
And so a lot of people. I think we're going to talk about this. Probiotics. You have to have probiotics. A lot of people don't realize they only have bad gut. So we could wait for our guest, but
yeah. So as you can tell, today we're going to talk about gut health.
Yes, and how it relates to your psyche.
Exactly, exactly. So our guest is going to be Alicia Jackson, and she's a holistic practitioner, and so she's going to talk to us about gut health.
Yeah, and I'm real curious to see she's she's maybe a little bit rare because she does blend Eastern and Western medicine. So I'd love to see what parts of Western medicine does that mean supplements or something else? Do you know?
I don't know. I know she does herbal medicine and Reiki.
Yeah.
And so she's all in.
That's great. That's good. So that'll be interesting to see how she does. And then
and she can do your horoscope too.
Does she really? I didn't know that. But I know she talks about empowerment. So that's good that she teaches her patients to be empowered with their healing.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Cool.
So tell me, what's been going on in the news today since I probably missed something?
Well, the biggest, ugliest piece of news I saw is Miami Beach. What the heck is going on? You know that's the one state that has opened up 100% in addition to Texas. Okay,
right.
Texas, we always say Texas is Florida's cousin to the west because we are both crazy states, really crazy. So because Miami Beach is one of the states that's open,
right?
Everybody who called themselves spring breakers headed to Miami Beach, where they had to call it they had to, what do you call it? Declare it a state of emergency.
Oh, really?
A state of emergency because people were converging by the thousands.
I mean, but what did they expect?
And so there's no mask, and they're all body on body. It's a lot. Have you seen the pictures of the beach?
I didn't see it at all.
It's like everyone in America's there. And they said it's not mostly students because everyone they've arrested, I heard the mayor is panicked right now. And everyone they've arrested is over 25. Most college students are out by 25. So
yeah, but still in
that
the 20s age group where you feel like you're invincible.
Invincible and no sense of responsibility. So now they're calling it a super spreader. And we may end up with a situation all across the country again because they've come from everywhere.
So you might do the vaccine?
Girl, I don't think so. I still haven't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten there. I gave Jeff my blessing. If he wants to do it, fine. I said one of us will, but one of us won't. So I don't think I am going to do it.
No, it's no problem.
I mean, my little sister went. Did I tell you my little sister went? But she sent me a video. I don't want to scare anybody. But right after she got her shot, she sent us a video and it said, why are the EMTs here taking this man to emergency room right after I got my shot? And it's a video of the EMTs talking to, but he was like 95 years old. Okay.
Yeah, because my 97-year-old grandmother did it.
But why? You've lived a full life.
Well, but at the end of the day, who wants to be the person?
Fine.
Who wants to be the
spend
person?
Their last days with a ventilator.
Not even that. Who wants to be the person that goes to the house and you have COVID and you give it to your grandmother and she passes because you gave it to her?
So you basically killed your grandmother.
Exactly. Yeah. So who wants that on their conscience?
Well, that's
I'd rather,
She's 97?
She just turned 97 Friday.
Wow. You are blessed.
Yeah.
Okay, some good genes up in there.
I hope so.
That's really amazing. So she had no feelings. She was good.
She's 97.
Okay, so I guess
who knows?
Oh, right. She might have had a little aching here and there anyway.
She wouldn't have.
I'm still trying to see if my mother's going to do it. I think she should. But, I mean, under these circumstances, she probably should. But I don't know. Who knows? My mom's like those 25-year-olds. She thinks she's invincible.
Exactly. See, my mother did it. She already did her second one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, your grandmother?
No, my mom.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. All right.
So, as you can tell, this has totally gone down a rabbit hole, but you expect that with us.
That's how we do.
But join us because we have Alicia Jackson, and she's going to talk to us about gut health, how it affects you mentally, emotionally, how to detox, everything gut health. She's going to educate us. And join us on Facebook and give us some questions to give to Miss Jackson, the
we'll be right back.
Therapist.
Yes, she's going to be cool. That'll be a cool visit.
Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
EDGE is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
The responsibility be on this? Should we have had a national plan, or should
that the government needs to get out of the way and let people figure it out?
What do you do for your face? So I do have a skincare line called Infinity Skincare,
and welcome back to How You Living on Edge Radio Live. So to
Jennifer, I'm just saying live, and I'm out.
Peace.
Can't say we not working, okay?
You cannot say we not working.
Say that we are.
No, they're just ready to get back out there and start sexing up other people.
Yeah.
That we weren't interested in any silver medals. If they wanted to give us the gold medal that we earned.
各位亲爱的观众，我是富卡，今天又到了我们
It's a hotel kind of vibe.
Well, I mean, I'm
we're
sure he's
turning
like,
down to say, here's the dinner, man.
About the cheap
cocktail. This is our first mixed cocktail.
Three.
Very good margarita.
Folks, as always, this is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get, right? So to the Edge Radio Network, we are going to be bringing you continuous, interesting conversations, interesting encounters, interesting experiences, education, knowledge, and a lot of laughs and a lot of fun, folks. So you don't want to miss it. So
when people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
And welcome back to How You Living Radio. And today we have our special guest, Alicia Jackson, a holistic practitioner. Do you like to say therapist or practitioner?
You know, either one is fine. It depends on who's listening. It depends on what people are most comfortable with, but it's all one and the same. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So I have known, I don't even know how long I've known Alicia. We have been friends for a while.
Yeah.
So explain to people who you are, what you do.
Okay. Well,
so many hats.
So many hats, right? So I'm Alicia Jackson. I am a holistic practitioner, holistic therapist. Do some astrology. I'm an end-of-life doula. I am a Reiki therapist, a yoga instructor now, and I feel like there's a couple of other things in there, but the whole goal is not to be this person that knows how to do a bunch of things. Mm-hmm. It's more or less just being a person that certain things come to you naturally.
Yes.
And so
it's a gift.
It's a gift. It's truly a gift. And then I'm able to present that to the world as a gift and an offering as well, because it comes to me naturally. So it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Yes.
It just feels like, oh, this is what I was going to do anyway. And each of those modalities that I just mentioned, and a holistic therapist being that the main part of my practice is that I counsel.
Okay.
That's the foundation.
Mm-hmm. So have you been in this space always?
No, okay. I was in corporate America thinking I was doing the best thing that I was supposed to be doing. And something interesting kept happening. I kept getting laid off.
Okay.
Right?
That's a message.
And that's a whole message that I was just like,
you're wasting your talent.
Right. And so like you get laid off and then you scramble. You're like, oh my God, I have to find another job. And so you find another job and you do really well there. And you're like, okay, I'm hitting all the right buttons. Then you get laid off again. And so it was just like this repetitious cycle. And I have an aunt who is an intuitive like myself, and she's psychic as well. And she told me, probably in my teenage years up into my 20s, if you don't do what you've been called to do, you're going to get sick.
Yeah, that's true. I believe that.
And as a young person, I was like, here she go again. Because when you grow up in a house of intuitives, it's always when they say something like the spirit needs, I have a message for you.
She knew you were an intuitive.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But when you grow up in that environment, it's just kind of like anything else. Like, oh, I don't want to hear what it is this time. So you kind of run from it. But all your friends are like, hey, can I talk to your aunt?
Right.
And so she told me, she said, you're going to get sick if you don't honor your gifts. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Fast forward about 15 years later. Went and got a checkup from my doctor, Dr. Chan, who is an amazing doctor. She's Chinese. She's an MD, but she also practices Chinese medicine in some ways if you're comfortable. Mm-hmm. And this was the first time that I had gone to her and gotten a physical where she said, if you don't do something, you're going to die. Wow. And that's exactly what she said to me. Whoa. And I'm thinking to myself, but I feel fine. Mm-hmm. So my numbers were off. I was on the verge of a major heart attack. Didn't know it because I'm Texas fine.
Right,
I got this extra weight on me. I'm from California, so in California that weight would have been like, oh, you're fat. But in Texas it's like, oh, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. You're perfect. Right.
High cholesterol, asthma, allergies, just all these things, right?
That we just take as another day.
Mm-hmm. So I leave out of her office and I just literally like, okay, if there's something else that I'm supposed to be doing, let me see what that is.
Yes.
And I just kind of got aligned with the right books and people and instructors and facilitators. And I just started doing my own research and it worked. And that, for me, changing my diet first led me into my whole spirituality and awakening.
Wow.
Because taking away foods that were making me sick raised my frequency.
Yes, that makes sense.
And so when my frequency,
she's a vegan.
You are vegan.
She's hardcore
vegan. For how long?
What is hardcore vegan?
Hardcore vegan is, was this skillet cooked with some meat?
Okay, that's good.
Yes, okay.
You won't step foot in a restaurant that serves meat.
Not that, because
not that
in order
hardcore,
to
huh?
fellowship and socialize with my friends, it's not that hardcore. But I am mindful that I may eat before I get there.
Yes.
And then just kind of drink something so
So
that I can be a part
did
of
you almost immediately start feeling a whole new
90
frequency?
days.
Wow.
90 days of just making the commitment and switching things up. My frequency shot up. And I started feeling vibrations and sensations in my body that I didn't even know were possible.
Right.
I'm gonna try.
And then just connecting with people like Kiva through yoga classes. And it's so funny. I think about our connection. I was taking yoga at 24-hour fitness, which is,
interesting.
because at that time, I think that was one of the only places that it was offered outside of if you went to like a temple or somewhere like that, right? So this is what, 2005 or 6, something like that.
6 or 7, yeah.
And so then some years after that, that's when I kind of went into my awakening of changing things. And so I've been vegan now for 12 years.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because that's when we became friends.
How long have you been vegan?
Oh, well, not as long as her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like forever.
I stopped eating beef and pork about 35 years or so ago. But then it was a little baby step. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's when we became friends, because she would come to my yoga class, and for some reason we started talking. And
Kiva walked up to me and goes after class one day, and I'm just kind of sitting there, and she goes, "You do something. I don't know what it is."
Consider yourself lucky, because she don't do that to anybody.
She was like, "You do something, and I don't know what it is, but you do something." And she sat down on my mat, and we started talking.
Very intuitive.
It was so intuitive. It was so intuitive.
So we just became buds.
Before we came on the air, you talked about being a end of life doula.
Yeah.
And people may or may not know what a doula is, period.
Right.
And so can you kind of explain?
The doula is the person that assists the mother and the father or the family while the child is transitioning from the spirit realm into the womb, from the womb into the world.
Okay.
And they give like the most amazing support, from everything from making sure that the environment is what it needs to be. If there's family there, making sure that people understand the boundaries. Certain music might be being played. There might be aromatherapy. Like, the doula is responsible for making sure that everything that she has talked to about the mother and father is happening in that moment. Because with so much happening in a birth or a death, people can just get kind of stuck on what they want to see happen.
Right.
And it's important for someone to be there to facilitate and say, this is what the parents want.
So it's very different from a midwife.
Yeah, well, the midwife is there.
See, I never knew there was a difference.
The midwife is there for, she's catching the baby normally.
She's
and so you're setting the atmosphere.
She's functional.
And so
but you're a more spiritual.
Right,
and
you're
so,
there
and
as a
that's the
guide.
same thing with the end of life, because I've never heard of
I
end
never
of life
heard of
doula.
But I love that idea.
Welcome to my life, right?
Wow.
So end of life doula is, so like, let's say someone's in hospice, right? And they decide that they want to bring in an end of life doula. So I would come in and say, what are some things that you want to see happen before people walk into this room? Do you want them to put up their electronics?
Right.
Do you want them to not be jangling their keys?
Nice.
Do you want aromatherapy? Do you want your bed facing the window? Do you want to see trees? Do you want to see the water? Yeah, like, depending on what that person wants. Like, what's your favorite music? Do you want to hear vinyl records? Do you want to have music streams? Do you want people rubbing your feet? Are you okay with people touching you when they come in?
Yeah.
Because people are just,
that is
and
wonderful.
maybe that's not what they
Instead of
want.
taking for granted that it's okay to touch somebody, they might not want to be touched.
They might not want to be
touched
for whatever the reasons
valuable.
are.
That's
and
a very
how does that fit with? I mean, I kind of know, but with your spirit, because you're like you're there to see the beginning of the spirit coming in, and when someone maybe take their last breath. So how has that changed your life, your vibration on how you view life?
It's matured me a lot.
Yeah.
In 2019, I believe I lost 9 people. Just like one after the other. And then I've lost people before then too.
Right.
One thing, and this is astrologically speaking, I've so there's a wheel in your astrology chart, and each there's a house, right? And so
Mhm.
the 8th house for me, which is the house of death and regeneration, there's a lot of planets in that house. So the relationship that I have with death is not one that is fearful or anything like that. So it really comes naturally to me for me to experience death and want to usher people safely to the other side. So they say that, I'll put it to you like this. So you know how they say, once an adult, twice a child?
Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, so when you're coming into that space where you're coming back into your infancy stage and you're crossing back over, we're told that there are these twin babies that show up. They're these toddlers, and they're the ones that will take you home.
Wow.
Right? Because you're a child again. So you're meeting your
That is
friends.
awesome.
And so I'm kind of like the babysitter, if you will, that's kind of there in that space,
That's
holding
phenomenal.
space for them and holding space for the person that's transitioning
I
over.
have
See,
a
now,
question for
I
you.
want
Yeah.
to become a doula.
You should. You
There's
should.
experiences I had that makes me think about that. One thing I'm sure you hear when people are about to transition, they start seeing their loved ones.
Yes.
So my dad we lost 4 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so he was it's a long story, but basically we went from practicing traditional Chinese medicine to doing what MD Anderson told us to do. I'm just to name names.
Okay.
But so when we did take him off of what the protocol we had him on, he immediately got sick.
Right.
And full of, sepsis and
Right,
everything.
right.
So he was basically just a few days away.
Mhm.
But he was very distressed. But what I did was I had created a music list for him, all his
Nice.
favorite jazz.
So you doing doula work already?
See, I didn't know that.
Yes.
But here's the funny thing. So I would put as soon as I put his headset on, his music, he got lucid. Not only so he got very lucid. He would talk. He would be in a better mood. He gave us all
Yes.
the kids. And when you took it off, he was in another place.
Mhm.
But then, as he got closer, he started having like a conversation
Visions.
with somebody else.
Yeah.
He was having a clear conversation, and I'm convinced it was his mom, his grandmother, people
He's
he was
going
very
home.
close with.
He's going
Yeah,
home.
it was
and so
clear.
you'll see everybody who's waiting for you who would be at your house.
I am 100%
Yeah,
on board with that.
absolutely. It's
You
a
know, and
true
it-
spiritual experience.
And when you hear that, it almost makes you at least even more accepting to
Yes.
say, that there
Absolutely.
is truly something beyond
Yes.
this particular
Yes,
moment.
100%
yes,
convinced.
yes. And it's just
Absolutely.
a beautiful thing to be. And so one of my goals and purposes is with people of color in particular, because of the disparities in healthcare and things like that. So hospice is normally free. Black people in particular, because of our relationships with doctors, we don't trust doctors.
We like
so
to
we
be
don't,
home.
Yeah,
We like to do hospice
don't
at
take
home.
me to no hospital, right?
And I don't blame them.
But not even, we won't even hire the hospice to come into the home. We don't know that it's free.
Okay.
We don't understand that because of how we've been treated in the disparities, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure that people know that
That makes sense.
we can die gracefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Boy, and Robin didn't want to talk bowels, and she's gone down
I
that road.
right. I still like
Whoa.
spirituality
Whoa.
more.
So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to find out more about raising your vibration and how does it feel when you don't, and it's all in your gut. How does that affect you emotionally,
That's very
mentally? Because she
It's
will
true.
get into gut health.
We're going to do it.
So join
Dr.
us.
Kiva's going to have her
And we're
way.
going to be that. So we're going to take a little break and come back and we talk a little bit more with holistic practitioner Alicia Jackson.
Be right back.
Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
And welcome back to Higher Living Radio. And today we have our guest, our holistic practitioner, Alicia Jackson, who's a doula, who's a astrologist, who's a Reiki, a therapist, now yoga teacher, so I get to take her classes.
Yay.
All of that. So before we get into raising vibration, we had a question from one of our guests, Andrew. He wanted to know, are there male doulas?
Absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely.
And they do the same for babies as well, for birth?
I'm certain.
Okay.
Because, especially now where we are, where we're not focusing so much on gender, the focus is on the life.
Right.
So when you come into a healing space, there's nothing about that healing space where we start looking at each other sexually.
Okay.
If we are, then there's more healing that needs to be done for that person, right? Because you don't bring that.
Right.
That would be a low frequency.
Absolutely.
Coming
Very
in.
low.
So I would say absolutely there are male doulas. There is someone that is comfortable with having
just like
a male doula. Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
Yeah, because I guess in that space you just want comfort. You can't be
exactly.
really caught up with the
no,
food.
And you want, and sometimes even having the balance of masculine energy, depending on if there's a lack of it, may actually help.
Well, that's good.
Because we do, depending on who your doula is, you might be preparing herbs for drinking or for if it's a home birth in the bath. Like, there are so many things that men and women can do to make that a beautiful experience.
So are there anybody, of course, in today's world, just like being a yoga teacher, what you'll find is people always try to say, but that's against this religion, and you always have to explain.
Right, you do.
So have you ever had anybody to say, you're doing all these herbs, is that witchcraft? What are you doing?
Absolutely.
So what is your response to that?
So, I've been doing this now for 12 years or so, and so I did it before it was trending. So before what it
before
is
the hashtag,
now, before the hashtag,
right?
Right. And so in the beginning, it was definitely a challenge to stand firm on my conviction of what I knew was given to me and to be done.
Right.
And it just, if someone felt that way, they just weren't my person.
That's right.
Like I'm not a good fit for you. So I'm not here to convince you of anything.
Right.
I'm here to align with your energy. Yes. And if that happens, then we can get a lot of work done, and I have a lot to give from my overflow, right? I can't let you deplete me. But if we're not a good fit for each other, I'm not
you wish them well.
So have you had to fire some clients or patients? Or
it's interesting that you have asked that. So I like to say divorce.
Yeah, divorce is a much more pleasant word, I guess.
And that's happened maybe. So the best way that it's happened is when I first started, just not really knowing because I'm following guidance, but not really understanding like my worth.
Yes.
You used to be able to come and see me for $60 and just talk as long as you wanted to.
Oh my God. That's because you were fulfilling your gift.
Exactly.
And they would unload.
They would unload and they would sit there for like 3-4 hours.
Oh my
God.
God.
And I was fine with
drawing up that energy.
Right. And I'm fine with it because I just think I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And then an elder came. One of my elders came. She was in her 70s. And we talked. And she paid me. And she said, there's no way that I can leave out of here and pay you $60.
Not in good conscience. Right.
And she gave me like $200. Yes. And I was like, what are you doing? Because, you know, there's this misconception in the healing space that you don't have to get paid what you're worth because people don't know how to put a price on it, right?
Right.
And so I said, you know, like, why would you give me this much money? And she said, because when I walked in the door, I feel one way. When I leave out, I feel amazing. Yeah. You need to look at your prices. So I made the modification to my prices, brought everything automated.
Yes.
Right? Because another thing that would happen is people would call me for a consultation and have a whole session.
Wow.
Then they would never book. But you have to remind yourself that people are doing this because they're not healed. So they're not practicing consideration. They're not there. So you can't even get mad about it because they're healing. Right?
I need that workshop because I still have issues with
that. No, it's the truth.
But that's 100%
You can't
correct.
be mad about it because they're healing.
Absolutely.
They've been crossing boundaries.
Right.
They've been taking advantage of people.
Ask their family members for a hookup or ask somebody, where's my family discount?
Right.
Yeah.
And so then my job is to bring awareness into that space. And so she brought awareness to me and then I translated it into my business. And what happened was when I made that price modification, all the people that would drain me went away.
That's exactly what you needed.
The people who were doing the work never even flinched about the price.
Because they knew you were.
Because they knew it was worth it.
Absolutely.
And it's been that way so I probably did it that other way for about a year. So it's been that way for about 11 years now. And I think I've done a price bump once and still no one flinched.
They won't.
So we were talking about raising the vibration. So what are some of the ways that people, I don't know, how they lower their, what kind of world are you living in that you have a low vibration?
Fast food addicts.
Okay, so we could start with food. A low vibration is a diet full of processed foods, full of heavy starches, no greens, no vibrant fruits and vegetables, because the whole part of who we are, there's a certain amount of electricity in our body, right? And in order to keep that electricity active, then we have to be responsible for feeding it electric food. Electric food is food that's grown outdoors and powered by the sun. That's the electricity that we're talking about. We're not talking about fluorescent lights. We're talking about food fueled by the sun. So like if we go outside right now, right? We've been in the building. If we go outside and the sun is out, we'll say out loud, oh, it feels so good out here, because you could feel the tingling sensation in your body of everything activating. And you get that same sensation from electric food. And if you're consistent with it, it starts to reroute and rewire your hardwiring. And it clears out a lot of things, mucus. Those are the things that make you sick in your gut, because if there's mucus in the gut, you're gonna get sick.
Well, how does that show up? Like mucus in the gut, how does that physically or mentally show up in a person?
Inflamed belly. Inflamed belly is a big thing.
Aches and pains, right?
Aches and pains.
That's like inflammation throughout your body.
A lot of flatulence.
Lots of gas, hard belly.
Is there any processed food that you would eat?
You know, there are some processed foods that I eat as a vegan.
Like dried vegetables, freeze-dried, what do you call it? Like sun-dried tomatoes.
Or frozen?
Sun-dried.
That's
a processed food, but it's not an unhealthy processed
It's not
food.
an unhealthy processed food. And in all truthfulness, I'll tell you that there are some processed foods that I eat in the freezer section as a vegan, but it's not the main staple in my diet. So if you look at my plate, the fruits and the veggies are gonna outnumber the processed little piece of whatever I have.
Yours too, right?
Yeah, no.
She's a
French fry.
She's
a French fry over here.
No, I don't do French fries because actually
foods.
when I do that, I can't do potatoes,
Oh,
and so it makes me congested.
You off your French fry
so I'm off French fries. No, your fuss with me wasn't French fries.
What was it?
It was tofu.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it wasn't French fries because she was like,
soy.
"Stop eating that tofu."
Yeah,
Stop
soy
it.
is very
Stop it.
And it's so funny because the other day I stopped at a restaurant and I got this tofu and because I hadn't been eating it, and immediately I get congested.
Yeah.
And so the histamines, I was like,
yeah,
you know
man.
what?
So
That
it
makes
happens every
perfect
time.
sense. That
it makes
really
me
does make
itchy.
perfect sense.
Yeah,
makes my skin
I get
itch.
congested.
Yeah.
So I have a dear friend of mine, and his father is eating just a lot of sugar.
Okay.
A lot of sugar, and now he's beginning to notice that mentally he doesn't seem to be connecting.
Yeah.
So how does that happen with you, when you have such poor gut health?
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect you so much? Why is that your second brain, your gut?
So one of the things that you have to realize is that sugar is a drug. Mm-hmm. It's an addiction. So one thing that I always find interesting is people who are maybe addicted to alcohol. They'll tell you, "I don't eat sweets
because there's a lot of sugar in alcohol."
But all the sugar in the alcohol.
And that's how people can gain a lot of weight, right?
Yes, and then again, the stomach gets big.
Okay.
Right, the liver starts swelling up.
You get a fatty liver.
You get a fatty liver, like all these things. For men, sometimes their gut gets big because they have too much estrogen.
Oh my goodness!
In the belly, right, and then there's a sensitivity that comes with that as well. There's depression that comes with that as well. Now, in terms of your question, the sugar and the addiction, overuse of anything is going to fog you in your memory.
Right.
It's going to fog you in your mind. And sugar eats away. It's an acid. So when you start eating away at the good acid in your gut, it's going to affect your brain up here.
It feeds candida, correct?
Exactly. Yeast overgrowth.
Okay.
And we're so full of
yeah.
You know what's up.
Oh yeah, we're here. It's just me and my meat. I mean, I do a lot of poultry and fish.
But
I'm not a big beef eater.
One thing that I want people to understand is you have to do what's best for you. Right. So I'm not the food police.
You're not right. You're not a
I'm
judger.
not. No, not at all.
No judging.
I'm just here to let you know that if you don't get the electric foods in your body, and you're just focusing on what comforts you, then there could be some problems later.
Definitely.
And when you start having problems later in life, they're harder to correct.
Right. We were having that conversation with our granddaughter this weekend because I was telling her that McDonald's is not food.
It's not.
And so
but
her grandpa was saying, yeah, but you're 9, your body can handle it.
Right
At my age, my body's not going to like it.
At all.
Yeah. But it is so, and even with that being the case, when we come back, because we're going to take a really short break so we can get your information.
And
and let us know if there's any way that we'll get in contact with you, because it sounds like we all need it.
Yeah.
And maybe you can just give us some ideas on how to detox. So we'll take a little short break and we'll get all your information. As usual, it's a heavy conversation. My goodness.
It does. That was
so we're going to take a little short break and come back and join us as we finish up with Miss Alicia Jackson and realize that we all need to kind of work on ourselves.
Yeah, we do. Be right back.
Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
And welcome back to How You Living on Edge Radio Network TV. So, Miss Jackson, I know. See, you don't know how we go. We're like sisters,
and it's crazy on break.
One time we're gonna go live so you can really see how we communicate.
Yeah. They're cutting up, y'all.
They're cutting up.
That's what we do. That's how we do.
So, Alicia, if someone is interested to raise their vibration, what is just one little nugget you can drop on what they can start to do even today?
Have a salad.
Eat a salad. So is salad just as good for you as, say, vegetables, cooked vegetables? Because there's a debate out there.
Salad is, okay. So
it depends on what's in your salad.
It depends on your body chemistry.
Okay.
Because everybody can't break down raw, right? But if you're talking about like spinach, lettuce, things like that, then I mean, it's not gonna throw your system completely off. And then a lot of people will say, well, when I eat raw vegetables, I get real gassy. Well, that's old gas coming out your body. It's trapped in your intestines. So if you can get that out, you're already lifting your vibration. So that's in a food space. In an energetic space would be to pay attention to your consumption. Like, what is your intake as far as media is concerned? So when you scroll on your timeline on social media, are you watching other people live their best life, or is your timeline filled with things that will empower you? You know, like that type of thing.
So what you consume, even visually, can affect you.
Yes, socially, visually,
anything toxic.
Connection to intimate partners. Like it's all connected.
Watching nothing but horror movies,
all of that. Like
that
sometimes,
negative energy.
Yeah, sometimes you need to spend, if you're a person who watches a lot of movies, spend the whole month just watching things that only are funny.
That's good. Yeah, that is definitely helpful.
Don't watch all the other stuff. I used to be addicted to intervention.
And boy, that energy is horrible.
Crying, calling the show because I know people
I couldn't
who
watch
need
Iyanla
to sign
anymore.
Right.
Every time I watch, I would cry like a baby.
Right.
I'm like, let me cry from laughter, please.
Right, exactly. or those police shows.
Oh, the police, yeah. Well, I still am. Saturday Night Live had a skit the other day about murder. Women, every woman I know, we love the murder shows. We love the murder mystery. I love 48 Hours.
And are scared I don't know what when we go outside.
Yeah, well, I do it so I stay aware that there are crazy people in this world.
Right, now, I just like Marvel.
See, I don't know. She's so simple. She keeps it real simple.
I like sci-fi, Marvel.
She does not do anything that affects her psyche.
Because I stopped watching the news years ago.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't have a television in the house.
Wow.
Don't have a television in the house.
And people will say, well, what do you do?
If I really want to watch something, it's my laptop.
Right.
And then I know I'm not going to watch it long because it's my laptop.
That's good.
But for me, that was the start of me changing everything. I realized that television was taking up so much of my time that spiritually I wasn't doing the work that I was supposed to be doing.
That makes sense.
And when I took the television out of the house, I would walk in and reach for the remote and there was no television there.
That's great. That was fantastic.
Now,
Now, just real quick, you did touch on one of the things, many things you do is astronomy. Astrology, excuse me. And so what do? You read charts, or how does that work?
I do natal chart, which is your birth chart, which is like
Like if we had to know what time we were born.
Right. The
Okay.
time, city, state that you were born, and in that moment, the stars are aligned in a specific order that are specific to you.
Okay.
And then those planets in longitudes and latitudes and transits give specific information about your birth
And
that
it
is
tells you why.
as no one else has.
Nice.
Right? They may have some similar things. So like even if you say, like I'm a Sagittarius,
Right.
and somebody goes, "Oh no, I don't." There's so much more to you than that.
Well, here's a fun fact. Me and two of my sisters, all three of us are Libras, and we're very different.
Very
One
different.
is we're one day apart.
Really?
And we're all different. You know, we all have different
because you have
personalities.
your moon is
There are other
different, your
things.
rising is different, and there are other placements that make you completely different. Then I do something called a life purpose report, which is smaller than the natal chart, and that is a report that tells you what you came into this life to teach, and what you came.
You know, I'm making my
She's already made your appointment.
I'm already trying to find
and
you
what
next
you came
available
into
appointment.
this life to learn, and what
Yeah.
happens if you don't do those things, and how it affects you on a physical level if you don't do those.
Have you done it yet?
We did natal.
We did natal, and
but
it was
we
so
haven't
long ago,
done-
so
we haven't
I probably
done
could even
life.
So let me ask you, along that line, what do you think about twin flames? Do you think that that's a thing?
I do.
Okay.
What is twin flames? What is that?
You brought it up. And
Yeah.
break it on down.
Well, it's
Break it down.
well, it's your person that you were together in the spiritual, and then you come back to Earth,
to be
and you
together.
happen to meet each other.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's more of a spiritual connection
Oh, I love
than
that.
necessarily a soulmate. So it's
Right.
a different thing than a soulmate.
Because you
Oh,
have
I
three
love it.
different mates. You have a
Okay.
lesson mate,
Okay.
a soul mate, and a spirit mate.
Okay.
Right? So Kiva and I would be considered soulmates.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we get that confused because we think that that's who you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with.
Right.
The soulmate is like almost the person that if you believe in reincarnation,
And I do.
when you reincarnate, it's like, I know you from somewhere,
Right.
but you know you haven't met each other, but it's from another space and time spiritually.
Wow.
Whereas your lesson mates are the people who come to teach you lessons.
And then they're
your
gone,
gurus.
maybe.
And you need them to be gone.
That's good.
You need them to go ahead and make
Okay,
their way.
so-
Wait, we're about to, wait, before we go there,
Oh my
give
goodness.
us your
Yeah,
information.
we absolutely need to know how
Okay.
because you're going to get some
Okay.
calls. I
And
guarantee you.
we're gonna have you back real soon because
Real-
I just
Okay.
saw this light bulb over Robin's hand.
Oh,
just
I have
now.
a million
They
trillion
said,
questions.
"Ah!"
Yeah.
So we're gonna have her back next month.
And maybe she'll do a reading on air. That would
Maybe-
be cool.
maybe so.
maybe,
We'll see.
maybe,
Maybe.
we'll see. So how does someone get in contact with you?
Okay, so you can, I have a website, analogearth.com. So that's www.analogearthhealinghub.com.
And we
all
can
together.
Okay, that's good.
I'm also on social media, Instagram and Facebook under the same thing, analogearthhealinghub.com.
Okay.
And I think that's
And when we do,
And we hadn't even talked to the
Oh,
fact that she's
yeah.
a poet and a musician.
Oh,
we
my
haven't even
goodness.
gone
Yeah,
there.
we're
So
bringing
And
you
I
back.
also have a podcast called Microdosing with Alicia. And what it is it's microdoses of therapy. So every episode is 10 minutes. It's just to get you
That's
in and get you what you
fantastic.
need, give you a microdose,
Okay.
and then at the end of that season, I do a full-on interview with a guest.
Okay,
Nice.
microdosing with Alicia.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
a
on
good one.
all of the platforms,
Okay.
iTunes,
That's fantastic.
Spotify, Tidal, all of that. It's on all of them.
Okay,
Wow,
we
so-
have to hit it.
well, our time is gone.
We got
Man, that
we
was
got time
so
for nugget?
quick.
Yeah, so
we got to do a quick nugget.
So whenever we
Okay.
have our guests, we
Okay.
always like for them to drop the mic, give a little nugget for our listeners. So what little nugget can
What
you
kind of
drop?
nugget
It's
that I want
simple
people
or it's complex?
Okay. I think what I want people to realize is that the only thing that you could really hustle is your mind, but you can't hustle your heart. And so it's important for you to lead with your heart every day and not throw it in the race of hustle and grind, but to really tap into yourself and allow yourself to become reacquainted with the love in your heart.
That is beautiful.
I love you.
Beautiful
I love you
nugget.
too.
I'm going to hug her. COVID be damned. All right, guys. We want to thank you so much, Alicia.
you
We
for
will
having me.
definitely
This
have
was
to bring
so
you
much
back.
fun.
Oh, you're amazing.
Thank
We will,
you.
This hour went by
Thank you.
fast.
It
Too
did.
fast.
We
Too
have.
fast.
So we
So
are
real
going
soon.
to. Yeah, next week we'll have. We'll bring her back maybe next month.
Next month, we'll check the schedule. We'll let you know when she's coming back.
for all you business, aspirational business people, next week we're going to be talking again with Jeanette Boulware, and she's with Fort Bend ISD, and she's going to let you know about the tens of millions of dollars out there for entrepreneurs to get a piece of the pie. So stay tuned next Monday.
She's like, I'm going to listen.
Yeah, please do. All business owners.
Absolutely.
You guys, hope you enjoyed this informative hour, this enlightened hour, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
All right, in the meantime, we have got
Peace and light.
How you living?